Good morning, DFS Army. How's everybody doing this morning? It's Sunday fun day. We got two NFL games today. My Chicago Bears taking on the Eagles, and I'm excited for that game. But we also have some NBA here. We got a 4-game main slate that I'm going to kind of go into. I know it's early and we got some news we need to watch, but I did want to touch on NBA today, as I know people enjoy their NBA products. So I did see some helmets last night at top of the leaderboards up in the showdown slates. I saw some guys take down a couple $1,000s. I love seeing those helmets up there at top of those leaderboards. And I also saw somebody win, looks like second place in NBA in FanDuel. Wallbangers 34 took second place for a little over $3,000. So I love seeing the DFS Army do well. Seems like night in and night out. We have winners, people taking down contests. So come over and join us at dfsarmy.com. You can get there by following the link below, or go to dfsarmy.com, enter CashKeg to save 10%. And we'd love to have you. So before I start, if you could please give me a follow, a subscribe, and a like to this video if you enjoy this. I'll keep doing these. I'd really appreciate it. And let's look at this 4-game slate. It's pretty interesting. And I'll just kind of go game by game, give you some of the plays that I'm looking at, and maybe some places that we have to wait on news where we could get some real good value to play some of the Westbrooks on this slate. Maybe a Kawhi Leonard or Oladipo. So let's start with Miami. Let's start with Miami, and let's see the over-under on this game. Looks like this game opened up at a 220 over-under with Miami favored by 6. This is one of the better games of the slate. Just the fact that Atlanta is one of the worst defensive teams, bottom 2 defensive team in the association. So we want to attack this with these Miami guys. One of the issues is Whiteside is in a nut spot, but it's the minutes. He just does not get the minutes. As you can see, he's only put up 30 minutes in 2 of his last 10 games. Spoelstra just will not give this guy minutes. And if he did, he would crush this Atlanta team. So he'd be only a GPP target for me. He crushed for 50 last night. If he gets anywhere near 30 minutes, I think he's going to crush again. But at that price, it's just there's some cheaper value around center on the slate that I'll focus more on cash games, but he's definitely a GPP target. I do like Winslow and Richardson here. Winslow's priced a little high for me, but Richardson's still getting a ton of run, and he's smashed Atlanta, I think, this year, if I remember correctly. Yeah, on the 2 games, averaging 35 minutes, putting up 46 DK points. That put him right at 6x. So he's playing the minutes. If you have, he's a fine cash game option here. Winslow's more GPP. He's priced up to a point where, with Wade back, I know Dragic's out. It kind of hurts him a little bit because Wade's in there. He'll run some point with Tyler Johnson. So for the most part, I would stick with Richardson and cash, Winslow and Whiteside and GPPs. And then down here, James Johnson is another GPP play at that price. Atlanta is ranked 26th in power forward defensive efficiency. So I don't mind taking pieces that are that cheap. So I don't mind him. Wade's at that price, he's always just high enough where I don't love him and never low enough where I want to roster him. But against Atlanta, I don't mind playing him or Tyler Johnson. So those would be the 3 pieces. I don't have a whole lot of love for Lineker Bam here. Only GPP options, and then really nothing below that. If we go look at the Atlanta side of the ball, Collins is the guy you're spinning up for here. Miami is ranked 17th against power forwards. They're a pretty good defensive team, so I don't have a whole lot of love for a lot of pieces here. Trae Young's actually done real well against Miami. He's at a price where he's put up almost 50 DK in 2 games against them. And he's at a price where he can hit that 5 to 6x mark, so I don't mind him. Collins can put up a double-double anytime, so I don't mind playing him. But these guys would be more, Collins would be more GPP, and Trae Young's borderline cash. But like I said, this is one of the better games on the slate, so you want a few pieces of this. I don't really have much interest in Dedmon. Definitely not Alex Lynn with Dedmon back. And then the cheaper guys here, you can always look to fill in pieces with Huter and Vimbery and Lynn. They're just not main staples for me on this slate. So it's really just Trae Young, some Collins, and then you, like you said, fill in with Vimbery, Huter, and Lynn. Let's go to the Washington OKC game. Washington OKC opened up at 224.5 over under, and OKC favored by 10.5. So Washington's one of the worst defensive teams in the league. They're ranked just right above Atlanta. So you're going to want a few pieces of OKC here. And I think, Paul George has been getting a lot of the good run lately, but they've priced him up over 10K. So I prefer to run Westbrook here, as we do have some cheaper value here we'll see in Indy and the Charlotte Phoenix game. And those guys are part of the front court. So I don't mind paying up for Westbrook on this slate because I think we'll have the savings to do it. And it's just a tight group for OKC every game. For me, it's like I said, OKC, Westbrook or George. I prefer Westbrook. And then it's Adams, Schroeder, and Grant. And if this game, with them being a 10-point favorite, I think I prefer Grant and Schroeder here. I love Adams. Washington just gets absolutely smoked against centers and power forwards. And he's consistent, but I do like some of the cheaper centers on this slate, so he'd be GPP only. And at that price, I'm not sure there's a lot of meat left on the bone, but on a 4-game slate, I have no problem with him. I just prefer the price savings with Grant and Schroeder because I think they can smash those price tags in the slate, even if they don't get a full allotment of minutes. Let's go to the Washington side. So on the Washington side, with Wall still being out, it's basically Bradley Beal's show. He gets all the usage, but they've priced him up to 9K. And OKC, where are they at? Is one of the better defenders against point guard and shooting guard. Where you attack them is the wing. So if you're going to take any part of this game, to me it's probably a Ariza and Jeff Green. Satoransky's priced up to the point where I really have no interest in him at that 5,700 price tag. And then Bryant, I don't want to take Bryant against Adams because I think Adams is just going to eat him alive there. Like I said, up in these next couple games, we've got some cheaper options to look at. So it's basically, and with Porter coming back, I would say the 3 targets on this game for me would be Ariza, Porter, and Green. And with Porter coming back the last 2 games, he's played 14, 21 minutes. So if we see that he's going to be pushing maybe closer to the 30-minute mark, he's worth a look because he can light up the box score as well. So not a whole lot to love here. But I would go to Green, Porter, and Ariza if looking to take pieces from this game. Let's go to Indy and Toronto. So the only line I found on this game was a 208 over-under with Toronto favored by 3. So it's way under the rest of these games. Close spread, but I don't have a whole lot of love for this game. Indy is one of the better defensive teams in the league, and Toronto is not bad itself. So, this is where the over-under is only sitting at 208 because, I just not all points are going to be scored. We can pick part of this, but I think the one piece we have to watch for Indiana is Turner is questionable today. So if we figure out that he's not gonna give her a go today, then we get a fantastic play in Kyle O'Quinn at min salary. The cock returns, and at 3K when he gets run, as you can see, just against Orlando 27, he put up 37 DK. And the way to attack Toronto is the bigs. So he would be a core play for me for sure if we know that Kyle O'Quinn is out. So just keep looking at the news today, and if he is out, throw Kyle O'Quinn in there. Depot, he's priced up a little bit, but he's been balling. I don't have a whole lot of love for him on this slate, but if the value, like I said, if the value opens up with Turner being out, we do have some money to spend. So in GPPs, I don't mind him, but he wouldn't be a cash play. I want to attack Toronto more with the bigs and Young and Sabonis. Young and Sabonis will probably both get an uptick if Turner's out, along with Kyle O'Quinn. So I would look at roster and Sabonis, Young, and maybe a little bogey, but I prefer Sabonis and Young on Indy. But again, the big news is Turner. So keep an eye on him. If he's out, just load up all the Kyle O'Quinn you can. Over here at Toronto, on the Toronto side of the ball, again, just make sure Lowry's still out. He should be. Fred VanVleet will still be getting the start and all the minutes he can handle. I don't love the matchup here. I don't mind throwing Kawhi Leonard because it's just his usage. I know, Indy's stout on defense, but with all the usage he's going to play, there's, they don't really have anyone that can guard him. So I'd prefer him over Depot on this matchup. And like I said, if we get turned around on the other side, it'll open up some savings where we can play a Westbrook or a Leonard or Depot. And I prefer Leonard over Depot. So on this matchup, I think one of my favorite plays on Toronto outside of Kawhi is Serge Ibaka, especially if Turner's out. Even if Turner's in, Serge Ibaka is just at a good price at 6K. That's how you attack Indy, is with the bigs as well. More so power forward, but I think this is where they're going to get their points. We can see Ibaka put up 45 last night, and he's around that 5X. He's a safe cash play. So he would be one of the guys I look at. Siakam's okay in GPPs. This is not one of my favorite games to play. So for me, it would be mostly Ibaka and Leonard if I was going to play a part on the Toronto side. So my favorite game of the night, and one that if you're going to play you need to stack up, is Charlotte at Phoenix here. So Charlotte and Phoenix open up as a 224 over-under, and Charlotte is favored by 2. So the big piece here, with Zeller still being out and Flam's still on the shelf, we got two pieces of value here. Now, Charlotte started Bismack Biyombo last night, and he put up 30 minutes and almost 40 DK, and he's only 3,400 still. So this is another, like I was saying with the two centers, if Turner's out, you load the cock, and if we get news that Biyombo is going to start again against Phoenix, Phoenix is the bottom of the association against centers and defensive efficiency, and so Biyombo is a core play as well if he's going to get the start again. So be on the lookout for that. And with Lamb on the shelf, Graham's been getting heavy minutes. At 26, 34, 24, but he's putting up, at a sub 4 grand price point, he's putting up around 5 to 6X here. So those are two cheap options. If you throw in Graham and if you throw in Biyombo and Kyle O'Quinn, you've basically only spent less than 10 grand for 3 positions. You're going to have a bunch. So once I go through these teams, I'll throw them in and kind of show you how much you have to play with. So I have no problem playing Kimba here at 9,200. Again, I think we're going to have the salary to do it. When you're stacking this game up, just stack it every which way. Kimba's going to keep rolling here and keep shooting with Lamb off. So I like Kimba here a lot. Don't have a whole lot of interest in Batum. I think I'd prefer more Williams if you're going to play in that range. But like I said, Biyombo and Graham are the plays down here. Then in GPPs, you're stacking it up. Definitely go Old Willie and Malik Monk. They're in play, but more GPPs. Just a Biyombo coming back. If he does start, it just kind of hurts Willie a little bit because he didn't see the minutes yesterday when Biyombo started. Yeah, he only saw 16, but put up 17. Like when he sees minutes, he puts up points. So just kind of see game stack. If Biyombo starts, I really don't have interest in Willie. If Willie starts, I'd rather play Willie. So just see whoever starts. And then I don't have a whole lot of love down here. I'm never a big fan of MKG or Bridges. So Bridges 3,400, I guess GPP. Just, an MKG again. If you're game stacking this, just do it a bunch of different ways. So let's look at it on the Charlotte side of the ball. It's all about Booker. I mean, he gets all the usage, and he's priced up a bit. However, Charlotte is ranked 19th against point guard and 24th against shooting guard. And defense efficiency, and again, Booker's one of those guys where I don't care who's guarding him. To me, he's matchup proof, just with how quick he can get his shot off, and how he can drive the hoop. So I have a lot of love for him here in this matchup in a 4-game slate. Probably one of the top 2 guys if I'm spinning up that I'd want to pay for. So I have a lot of love for him. Ayton's not a bad play if he's going to keep seeing minutes against Biyombo. I have no problem there. He's priced up to the point where it's GPP only because, again, I'm going to be spending down at center today if those things fall right for us. So it would be GPP only. And then we get a lot of guys here like Bridges, Jackson, Oubre, all GPP options, all probably owned maybe in that 10 to 20% on a 4-game slate. Kind of mix and match them. There's not any one of them that I just love more than the other because they're not putting up huge games. Since Booker's back, it's all Booker and Ayton. I don't mind Warren at that price against this team. So he's seeing, minutes are kind of over the place, 29, 20, 34, 41. But when he does see the minutes, he's definitely right at that 6X mark. So if I had to rank the plays here, I'd probably go, Booker, Warren, Ayton, and then just maybe a few of these plays here. I don't mind Melton at 3,700 if you're going to spend down at point guard, but I think lineup construction is basically taking me cheap front court and expensive back court. So let's go back here. Just a quick how I would do it if we get Turner's out and Kyle Quinn right here. He's power forward or center. We'll just throw him in. Let's throw him in at center. And then if we go over to Phoenix, and we know that Biyombo is going to start, for Charlotte, and we throw him in there. And then, if Graham's going to keep getting those minutes in 3,800, you've got almost 8K to work with just throwing those 3 pieces in. And those guys are just all severely underpriced for the minutes they could play, again, if the news hits right. So you have to be checking out the news. Luckily, from the first game on the main slate to the last game, there's only 2 hours, so there's not a big window. So it shouldn't be we should know the news probably maybe around 7. We don't know it, but build contingencies when you're building these lineups. But just keep on the Turner is the biggest news of the night, so just look for that. And then I said if Turner's out, this is how I would start my lineups for the night on DraftKings. But it is only 9:40 in the morning, so things can change. So this is just the first look at it, just kind of where my head's at when I'm building my lineups. I always try to build lineups before I look at anything else. Again, if you've liked this video and you want me to do more of these, I'd really appreciate a follow, a like, or a subscribe on YouTube, and I'll keep trying to pump these out. Hope this was helpful. Please join us over at DFS Army. we're going to have a bunch of NFL content out today for the 2 games, and myself and I think we got 2 or 3 coaches as well for NBA today that will be covering the slates. So come over and join us, and I appreciate your time. Deuces.